hurricane.
All right, here we go again. Want to get right over to Governor Ron DeSantis.
He is at the State Emergency Operations Center with resources that are rolling out now. Let's
Storm
listen.
surge watch has been issued for the Florida Gulf Coast from mainland Monroe County to the Dixie-Levy County line. Possibility of 8 to 12 feet of storm surge is forecast from the Anclote River to Englewood, including Tampa Bay. 5 to 10 foot peak storm surge is forecast from Yankeetown southward to the Anclote River and from Englewood southward to Bonita Beach, including Charlotte Harbor. And those numbers can change and they can go up in certain areas depending on how the storm ultimately approaches the Florida Peninsula. Hurricane watches have been issued for portions of west central Florida and the Nature Coast. Tropical storm watches extend further south and north through southwest Florida and the Keys and along northern Florida. The Florida Division of Emergency Management is actively addressing storm-related resource requests. They're currently in the process of fulfilling 850 missions. They've deployed everything from sandbags to shelf-stable meals to tens of thousands of water bottles to thousands of tarps. We've already sent truckloads of food and water to Central Florida in preparation for points of distribution site subsequent to the storm hitting. We're also coordinating the deployment of more than 2,000 feet of flood protection systems and prioritizing critical infrastructure like hospitals, wastewater treatment facilities, and electrical infrastructure. We have generators deployed to support special needs sheltering. We also have Starlinks deployed in areas that have asked for that. More than 200 ambulances and more than 30 paratransits are in Central Florida, ready to support first responder operations as appropriate. State of Florida is amassing fuel reserves ahead of Milton and staging it to be utilized as needed. Those quantities include 415,000 gallons of diesel, 389,000 gallons of gasoline, and there is, as I mentioned this morning, an additional 1.5 million gallons of both diesel and gasoline that are en route to the state. Now, there is currently no fuel shortage in the state of Florida. Fuel continues to arrive at Florida ports. However, there are long lines at some gas stations, and because you've had a run on gas, there have been gas stations that have run out of fuel, but they are being resupplied with the fuel. So we're going to continue to ensure that we have fuel coming, but they're still coming with the ports. We have some coming on the ground, so people can go. You may be in a line, but if your gas station runs out, there's going to be more fuel on the way. As I've mentioned, we have ramped up support for county debris removal operations. We're working this mission to supplement their mission 24/7 around the clock, and we're going to continue to do that all the way until it is no longer safe to do so. Please, local officials, these vendors, there's been vendors that they don't necessarily do, and then when there's some sunlight and people see they're not doing, then they start to work really hard. We got to get as much of this taken care of as possible. I know with Kevin and with Jared putting the state assets to supplement, it has made a really significant difference. We want to continue to do that. Those barrier islands like Pinellas, Manatee that are under evacuation orders, people obviously should heed those. But once that deadline passes, we're still going to have the debris removal operations ongoing all the way until we start to hit tropical storm force winds. So that's all the rest of today through the night, all day tomorrow, most likely into the beginning of Wednesday morning. So I appreciate all the effort that's gone into that on the state. We have deployed just on the state side to assist with the federal, with the local debris mission, over 300 dump trucks to help with debris. And in the last 36 hours, state assets have been able to do 12,000 cubic yards of debris removed from communities and brought to landfill. That's 663 total loads. So that's been a good mobilization. It will make a difference, but we need to keep doing that to mitigate the harm that could happen once the storm goes. Florida National Guard, State Guard, additional FDOT personnel, and Florida Highway Patrol are all engaged in that debris mission. for the storm. We have 5,000 National Guardsmen that have been mobilized, and we will have, before the storm hits, another 3,000 National Guardsmen that will be on duty. We're also deploying major heavy equipment to assist with debris removal, and of course, National Guard will be a big part of any search and rescue that needs to happen, as well as helping set up our points of distribution. These debris and landfill sites are open, not just from state assets or from the local debris contractors, but for private individuals and citizens. And so if you've got a pickup truck, you can load debris up. We want you to go and do that. I know we've had issues with those sites being being closed when they should be open 24. We've opened them when we've seen that, but let's keep this going until it's no longer safe to do so. We're also coordinating the evacuation.
You are listening to Governor Ron DeSantis speaking from the State Emergency Operations Center about resources that are in place ready to roll out after the storm. Those include ambulances and other support systems for first responders. The governor also making sure that you know there is not a fuel shortage in the state of Florida. I know that many of you have tried to fill up and you've seen that the gas stations don't have gas, but he says that fuel is coming in and they are being replenished. Just know that that will happen sooner rather than later. And of course, debris pickup, that's going to continue, he says, until we start to feel tropical storm force winds.
Absolutely. The governor also pointing out that there are generators for special needs shelters. And now, of course, the perfect time to be a great neighbor if you have a pickup truck of your own. Want to get another look at that forecast so we can take a look at the track of that storm. Bobby D, what's the word on Milton?
So it's still well down to our south, way far away from us, but it will be making a turn. So let's get over the weather wall. Let's talk about it very fast. I want to get into some of the impacts that we're going to see. It looks really scary, I know, guys. 175 mile per hour winds. It's very impressive meteorologically speaking, but we don't think it's going to be that bad by the time it gets here, but it could be bad. Let's look at it that way. Cat 3. 125 mile per hour winds. That's the forecast now. Likely will change just a little bit. And again, that timing for tropical storm force winds is after 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning. However, and I want to mention this is our forecast model that we use here, usually pretty good. Not only this one, but other models are much slower to get this here. This may not be getting here until late Wednesday into Thursday right now. So pay attention to that. By the way, our model goes further south than where the Hurricane Center has it. Storm surge watch. So let's go over some numbers. Down towards Marco Island, 4 to 7 foot, 5 to 10 in the Fort Myers area. The bullseye is right here. Manatee, Sarasota, Pinellas, Tampa Bay, including Hillsborough, 8 to 12 foot of storm surge. We saw 5 to 8 for Helene. All right. Less as you work your way north because the winds eventually will be blowing off shore here. Let's talk about some impacts. For Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus, 60 to 85 mile per hour winds, 10 to 14 inches of rain. Pinellas and Hillsborough, 75 to 110 mile per hour winds. That's going to knock the power out. That's going to put some trees down. That's going to break some stuff. 10 to 14 inches of rain, 8 to 12 foot storm surge. Manatee, Sarasota, 75 to 110 mile per hour winds as well. 8 to 12 foot surge. The center goes in somewhere over here. You get your high wind, especially on the south side. Inland locations, we still got a hurricane coming through, guys. You won't have the winds that they have along the coast, but you will have 70 to 90 mile per hour winds with some gusts a little bit higher than that and about 7 to 10 inches of rain. I think the highest rainfall amounts will end up north of I-4.